What is up, everyone? Happy Friday night here. We got another special episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show for you guys. We're doing a live PPR mock draft. We're doing an expert PPR mock draft. As you can see here, we got a couple guys in the chat room with us drafting. We got David here at the pick 1, and then we got Aiden Tobin here at pick 2. I'll be doing from the 4th spot tonight. Again, this is a 12-team full PPR mock draft. Aiden, tell us how you really feel. PPR is the best format. We're not really debating here. PPR to me is the only format that I like to play. But we're gonna have fun with this one. I did put Austin Ekeler as the main thumbnail guy here. He is ranked 4th here on ESPN, and we'll see how it goes. I'd like to get Austin Ekeler at the 4th spot. We'll see what they allow me to get. But otherwise, man, I hope you guys are all ready for your drafts. If you're drafting this weekend, the 2022 draft kit, I updated all of the cheat sheets and all of the rankings and things on there for you guys. So happy drafting. If you guys need help, you can always hit me up on Twitter. DM me. We can talk strategy, whatever you need to get you guys ready for your draft. So let's see what we can do here. The draft's about to start in 30 seconds. We'll be accessing my projection document throughout the show here. And I do have, technically I got Austin Ekeler as my 5th ranked player, but I think I'm beginning to be super into Austin Ekeler at ADP right now. And yeah, kicker and punters only is the best format. You got to be able to start 2 kickers, 2 defenses, 2 punters, and then 1 head coach. What time is the fellowship draft? Our listener, watcher, YouTube subscriber league is going to be Monday, Labor Day. Let me see what time I have that scheduled for. 7 p.m. So our usual, 7 p.m. Central Time start. Monday the 5th, we'll be drafting a super flex draft. So that one will be fun. We're up to pick here. Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, and I get my guy Austin Ekeler here at the 4th spot. I do love Justin Jefferson a lot, but if you wanted to lock in a running back with your first pick here at the 4th spot, it's Austin Ekeler. He is the premier back there if you're picking at number 4. So we're locked and loaded here. And if you've been watching my stuff, I do have a huge playlist of maybe over 25 drafts so far this year. So find your draft for your draft spot. I have been taking a lot of wide receiver early, so this one's nice. We lock in a running back, and then we can kind of pivot round 2. We'll see what we can get falling to us. But we lock in my number 5th ranked player here. I do have Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson as my top ranked guys. But on the comeback here, since we're drafting in the 5th spot, we have about pick number 18, 19 or something like that. We'll look at the board and see what we can do. After I take Ekeler, you see a lot of running backs come off the board. Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara up here at 6. I like Alvin Kamara. I think he's a top 10 running back. I don't know if I'm comfortable taking him in the 1st round, though. That's a bit steep, especially because he has his court trial hearing at the end of September, which it could, that could lead to a suspension at some point this year. So there's a little bit of risk baked into that pick. Justin Jefferson at the 7, Najee Harris at 8, Jamar Chase falling to 9, Dalvin Cook, Devontae Adams, and Deebo Samuel finished the 1st round. To get Stephon Diggs here at round 2, pick 1 seems like really good value. And then a lot of people don't like Joe Mixon, but I think Joe Mixon's one of the safest running backs you can pick in the 2nd round. The dude was a top 5 running back last year, and the offensive line's much improved. The Bengals are going to win more games. Defense is solid. Yeah, he was RB4 last year. He only played 16 games, but a lot of touchdowns, 16 total touchdowns. That number might come down, but I still think Mixon's one of the safest running backs you can pick. There goes Mark Andrews, round 2, pick 3. A little bit early for me. I like some of the running backs. And to take Andrews over Kelsey feels like the wrong move. I think if I showed you one stat here, which number from these Baltimore Ravens stats stick out? These are their pass attempts the last 3 years under Lamar Jackson. You have 611, 406, and 440. They're not throwing the ball 611 times again this year. So I think that was what helped prop Mark Andrews up last year. So to me, I'm still taking Kelsey there. You have CeeDee Lamb, Kelsey, Javonte. And we're almost up to pick here. I think if I get we missed out on DeAndre Swift, but my guy Aaron Jones, definitely an option. It looks like I get sniped on Aaron Jones. So we're back up to pick here. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Leonard Fournette, James Conner. I like a lot of these guys here. I think we're going to Leonard Fournette, such a nice running back too here. If you wanted to snag one, I do like Leonard Fournette a lot. But I want to pump up Tyreek Hill. I haven't been able to draft Tyreek Hill a lot. In terms of my flex rankings, I have Tyreek Hill. Let's see, where is Tyreek Hill? Am I missing him? I have him as my 24th best player. So I have him as an end of round 2, but at this point, I'm just trying to draft different players. Leonard Fournette might have been a nice pick there, and Ravens have their RBs back. I'm not so sure about that though. I'm not going to trust J.K. Dobbins to be 100% himself. They might kind of struggle to run the ball. They got Mike Davis. They're probably going to lean on Mike Davis heavily in the first game, or the first couple games. So I'm a little bit nervous about the run game still with Baltimore, but Lamar Jackson, man, he's going to be back, and he's going to be running the ball. He's going to be their number one running back, if we're being honest. But after I take Tyreek Hill, you see Leonard Fournette. Hayden gets Mike Evans. Can't argue with Mike Evans there. And David comes back with James Conner and Saquon Barkley, smashing the running backs there. Hayden gets T. Higgins and Keenan Allen. So I'm up to pick here. I don't see any running backs that I love here. DJ Moore, Michael Pittman Jr., AJ Brown. Love AJ Brown. Big Mike Williams here. If I'm sticking to my projections, I'm gonna go with Michael Pittman Jr. here. I'm locking in a potential top 10 wide receiver. Last year with Carson Wentz at the helm in Indy, Pittman was wide receiver 18. I think, that's his floor, but I think realistically for him to add, 20 to 30 points to his score, that's going to put him right here at wide receiver 9 from last year. So that's not a lot more stats added, and potentially buying yourself a top 10, top 12 wide receiver. I have Pittman Jr. as my 22nd ranked player here. So I lock in 3 guys in my top 24, Ekeler, Tyreek, and Michael Pittman Jr. So that's kind of fun. After I took Pittman Jr., you see DJ Moore go. And we have a Panthers game going on right now. Baker Mayfield actually threw a touchdown in this one to, looks like Deonta Foreman. So the clear backup behind CMC, we do not have a clear backup. They're using Hubbard and Deonta Foreman both right now as running backs. Looks like James Cook getting some work in here with Case Keenum. But anyways, DJ Moore, I'm fine with him as a round 3 pick. Nick Chubb, I don't love Nick Chubb, but he's an RB2 for me. I think if you need a running back 2 in the 3rd round, that's fair value. AJ Brown, Deontay, and Kyle Pitts, man, crashing the 3rd round. And yeah, David's a sharp picker. I liked a lot of his drafts. He's done a lot of 0 running back stuff, but now he's going all running back here with JT, Connor, and Barkley. So I kind of like this move if you're in the 1 spot, because there's a huge drop off after Barkley. There's really no running backs that I love after Barkley. Maybe ETN. And yeah, we got the college football back tomorrow. But I mean, just look at this draft board. Kyle Pitts, round 3, pick 9, and Travis Etienne, round 3, pick 11. So these guys, man, costing top 36 draft positions in 12-team leagues. So that is extremely interesting to me. These guys a week ago were both in the 4th round, but people keep pushing them up. And then Ezekiel Elliott rounds out the 3rd round. But as we approach the 4th round, it's looking like a wide receiver round. I'm not taking David Montgomery. I'm not taking Breece Hall. I'm kind of bearish on Breece Hall. I just don't love the value of him right now. The camp reports are that he's running behind Michael Carter, which I know it's preseason reports. They took Breece Hall pretty early in the draft. They're going to use him at some point. But one, we have to worry about the stink of the Jets offensive line. The quarterback situation with Flacco and Zach Wilson is not ideal. And then you have to factor in they're not going to win a lot of games. Are they going to be able to establish the run? We know Michael Carter is a dynamite pass catching back. So I lean, if I had to choose taking Breece Hall in the 4th round versus Michael Carter in the 10th round, I'm taking Carter in the 10th round all day. So let's recap the 4th round here as we get started. Marquise Brown, a guy I'm coming around to in the 4th. McLaurin, Mike Williams, Cortland Sutton. There goes Breece Hall. As I line up my 4th round pick here, I mean, Jalen Waddle still on the board here. I do have Tyreek Hill. I don't love double dipping at that spot here, but he is the value. If we're talking who sticks out to me at this point, it is Jalen Waddle. He should have been drafted by now. Again, I don't love taking 2 receivers from the same team, but he would be the most reasonable pick here at ADP. Otherwise, I mean, you got Metcalf, Jerry Jeudy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. There goes Jalen Waddle did go. So he's off the board here. I want to just look real quick. I like Jerry Jeudy. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think I'm willing to be higher than consensus on Amon-Ra St. Brown. So let's lock him in. Essentially, if I don't get DeAndre Swift in the 2nd round, I'm going to boost Amon-Ra St. Brown up in my rankings. And I know he's not going to do what he did at the end of the year last year. Like, these numbers from last year are just downright, they're ridiculous. 8 receptions in every game, over double-digit targets in every game, 4 touchdowns in 5 games. He's not going to do this, but I do think he is being underrated in drafts right now. I have him as my 32nd ranked player right now. He is my wide receiver 18. And I think he's going to catch, 90 balls this year, whether that's, 8 to 9 targets per game. I think he's going to see a safe floor of 5 to 6 receptions. So I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of those guys I'm willing to lock in. Whoever drafts Bryce Young, their receiver, going to fly up in value for me. Yeah, interesting. Next year is going to be fun for a lot of these QB needy teams. We're back up to pick here. We got 1 running back, 3 stud wide receivers. Metcalf, Judy, there's Patrick Mahomes, Herbert sitting there on the board. I don't love the receiver value right now. I mean, I suppose I could take Jerry Judy, DK Metcalf, but we're going to grab one of my guys here. We're going to reach a little early for him, and that's going to be Allen Robinson. This is the guy here. I don't know if you saw my rankings, but my wide receiver 17 in the rankings. I got St. Brown and Allen Robinson here as like locked in wide receiver 2s. And the case for Allen Robinson was, keep in mind, last year before Robert Woods got hurt, dude was a top 12 wide receiver in fantasy football. I wonder if I don't know if I could pull up the Bob Woods stats here. Is he there's Van Jefferson? Did Robert Woods fall out of here? Let me see if I can find Robert Woods. So last year, these were Robert Woods. He averaged 15 points per game. So essentially, I think Allen Robinson can do this. And you look at the numbers here, only 1 game below double digits, 12, almost 15, 27, 11, 13, 20, and 17. I want this. I want these numbers in here as my wide receiver 4. So I'm all in on Allen Robinson. I'm willing to take him in the 5th round. 6th round's probably where you can get him in your real drafts, but Allen Robinson's better than Robert Woods, guys. And I just think they don't have a true number 3 target. I mean, even when they had Odell Beckham last year, he was a wide receiver 2 for fantasy. So to me, LA Rams wide receiver 2 equals a wide receiver 2 on my fantasy team. So he says, I don't care if this man Gibson might not be the workhorse, but dude is too good to be ranked 94th in PPR. Gibson's not a guy you want on your fantasy teams this year, man. He's super talented, but the fact that he's not going to be the 2-minute back, he's not going to be the 3rd down back, so he's already losing PPR value. And then you bring in Brian Robinson, who might lead the team in carries. He might be the goal line back. I don't see the value for Gibson. He's kind of like a running back 3, one guy on your bench here. The fact that I can get Brian Robinson or someone later here, I don't love it. There's some other running backs I love in his area, so I'm crossing Gibson off my list this year. He's their kick returner at this point. He's a kick returner and kind of they're going to kind of use him kind of like a Deebo Samuel. They're going to throw the ball to him. I don't think he's going to rack up the touches that he did last year. To me, really risky pick there for sure. We're almost up to pick here. We're on deck technically. A lot of players I like on the board here. I kind of want to see if I can get some of my guys to fall, but I got to worry about Hayden and David here in the chat. Quarterbacks, Kyler Murray on the board still. I love Christian Kirk here. I love Rashad Bateman. I could continue to take wide receiver if I wish, but I miss out on Christian Kirk, so that one stung. At this point, there's a running back that I need to make sure that if you're going to draft someone and it's a recommendation for me, it's AJ Dillon. ESPN has him ranked 125th. I have him as a top 20 running back this year. He's my running back 2. If you have to draft a Packer this year, it's AJ Dillon in the 6th or the 7th round. So to me, again, I have him ranked, and I feel conservative with this. He's my RB18 right now. The dude's going to be a monster this year. Packers are prepping him for a heavy workload season. So I'm all in on the man, AJ Dillon, and not Dillon. Yeah, it's all about AJ Dillon. I'm willing to take him in the 6th round. I think 7th rounds where you can get him with your redraft leagues with your friends. But dude's a super safe player. He's going to get upwards of 15 touches per game. He's got a really good floor too. He's going to catch 2 or 3 passes per game, as well as rack up 12 to 15 carries. And I'll tell you what, man. Come December, I think you're going to want AJ Dillon on your fantasy teams. They got a lot of home games for the stretch here, so we'll see. But we're almost up to pick again. Guys that stick out. We don't have a tight end yet. I got one more bullet here that this is ahead of the curve right now, but you want Dameon Pierce on your team here. He is going to be the Houston Texans starting running back. He's been blowing it away in preseason. Dude ran with the first team last night, he got a touchdown, and he looked really good doing it. He's a really fun high upside back, I think in the 7th round. I know it's the Texans starting running back, but his only competition is a 32-year-old Rex Burkhead, as well as Achilles comeback Marlon Mack. Like, the dude's going to be leaned on heavily. They gave him the starter treatment week 2 of the preseason. Like, all the bells and whistles are going off for Dameon Pierce. So all of a sudden, I got Ekeler, AJ Dillon, Dameon Pierce locked in. I have 4 stud wide receivers: Tyreek, Pittman Jr., Amon St. Brown, and Allen Robinson. Feeling pretty good about that. Let's see what Aiden's talking about here. He says his team is trash, but Josh Allen, McCaffrey, Edmonds, Evans, Higgins, Gabe, and Rashad Bateman. Man, this team looks freaking good. You need some running back depth, but I like this team, man. You got some daggers with Gabe Davis and Rashad Bateman. Got the number 1 QB, number 1 running back. Like, I'm feeling pretty good about that team, actually. Let's see what our guy David's up to. So he went, again, heavy running back with Jonathan Taylor, James Conner, and Saquon Barkley, but he comes back with some fun receivers here. Chris Godwin, who by all accounts sounds like he's going to be ready to go week 1. And I just did a video, if you haven't watched it yet, I did my ultimate draft prep guide part 2. Out of all the guys that are coming off of a serious injury, I believe Chris Godwin's the only one that I am comfortable drafting for this year. And round 5, round 6, I think feels appropriate for Chris Godwin. So he's back on my good graces. Darnell Mooney, we love Mooney. Dalton Schultz, a safe, reliable tight end. And then Amari Cooper, man. I think people are kind of discounting Amari Cooper for the Jacoby Brissett situation, but dude's still going to lead the team in targets. So I don't mind that pick at all. And as we approach the 8th round here with my team, I do not have a tight end. I'm waiting for my favorite tight end here because I clearly, I want Travis Kelce. I'm okay with Mark Andrews. I love Kyle Pitts. Those are some of my guys, but we just got sniped on the one that I was going to pump up here in Dallas Goedert. I think he's my favorite tight end if you miss on some of the top end guys. But now that we've missed on tight end, we can kind of just punt the position at this point. I really don't care. Quarterbacks available here: Rodgers, Burrow, Stafford, Lance. I think I kind of want to lock myself into Joe Burrow here. I don't have a Cincinnati Bengal, and I'm nervous about these guys here picking QBs. I don't have one yet, and nobody else really sticks out on the list here. I love Elijah Moore. I'd love to get him on the team, but I want to lock in Joe Burrow here. I don't have a Bengal. Missed on the Bengals receivers, missed on Joe Mixon. I want to lock myself into that. You know, he was QB 8 last year, and keep in mind, he was still a year removed from his serious knee injury. And man, like, this offense, like, we know what he can do. He's got a safe high floor. I think he's going to run the ball a little bit more this year, that he's comfortable being removed from his injury. So Burrow, I love getting Joe Burrow, a piece of that Bengals offense, on my team here. Yeah, the stack is nice. You had a fun stack there. But anyways, we are moving into the 9th round. Aiden steals my Elijah Moore, one of my favorite late round picks here. David gets Brandon Ayuk, another dynamite wide receiver target for you here in the 8th, 9th turn. And we'll see what David's got. He's got one more pick here to make. I want to just look, because Zach Ertz at tight end is very intriguing to me at this stage. Wide receivers here: I mean, we love Chris Olave. We love Jacoby Myers. We love Russell Gage, even some guys later down the list. But we went wide receiver heavy, so I don't know if I need to. Good pick there: James Cook and James Robinson for our guys in the draft. Some other running backs here available for me. Again, we went QB. I missed out on Zach Ertz. That one stung a little bit. But I'm gonna get my favorite rookie wide receiver. That's gonna be Chris Olave, starting number 2 receiver for the Saints. If you're nervous about Michael Thomas, you should be circling Chris Olave like in pen. Like, he should be one of your favorite 9th round picks, because again, it's hard to trust Michael Thomas. We haven't seen him in 2 years. He popped up on the news blurbs the other day with a hamstring thing. And I mean, there's legit potential for Chris Olave to be the number 1 receiver on that Saints team. And he looked good in the preseason. I think he's a fun guy to put on your bench. You want to draft some rookies. I mean, I got Dameon Pierce on the team. I got Chris Olave. There's still some rookie wide receivers out there that look really good too. It looks like Garrett Wilson just went off the board. I like the rookie running back James Cook as well. Some fun upside players here. There goes Michael Carter. So he's starting to move up draft boards. But as we get into we're about to approach the 10th round. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 bench spots left. No tight end yet, so I'm still waiting for that tight end. Let's get to some of my favorite sleepers here. I think if you want to wait for the 9th, 10th round here, you're looking at Pat Freiermuth, who's going to be a safe, reliable target, whether it's Trubisky or Kenny Pickett. I like both guys. Cole Kmet, man, he's not a sexy pick, but he's going to be the number 2 target for Justin Fields. The dude had a ton of targets last year. His only issue was he didn't score touchdowns. His number would have been a lot better, but on a bad week, he'll get you 5 targets, 3-4 catches per game. So I'm okay enough with the floor in PPR league where Komet intrigues me. Of course, we love Dawson Knox. Take a flyer on Irv Smith, David Njoku. I talked about Tyler Higbee in the draft guide video, and then there's Evan Engram as well. So there's a lot of tight ends that I can make a duo with later, and it looks like they're all kind of pushed at the top of the board. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. And I don't know, dude. I'm off James Robinson. I don't think that's a good pick. Just taking a guy off an Achilles, it's just not a good recipe, man. The stats are on my side. Taking James Robinson, he might not even play week 1. And if he does play, they're not going to give him a full workload. So you're potentially buying a guy that you have to babysit for a month and see what happens. I'm okay with it. I think I'd rather have Michael Carter. I'd rather have Nyheim Hines. I don't think it's a good move to take running backs coming off an Achilles injury, especially since his happened in December. I'm rooting for James Robinson. I'm probably not going to draft him till next year, though. If I'm drafting Jaguars, I want ETN, I want Christian Kirk, I want Trevor Lawrence, Zay Jones. So to me, I'm nervous about it, man. I think it's an okay pick, but not my favorite situation coming off an Achilles injury. And I know, I get it, man. I get it, but you got to look at the history of Achilles injuries, and especially it happened in December. Like we're not even 8 months removed from a serious Achilles injury. Just there's been no success rates with these injuries so far. So it makes me a little bit nervous, but I'm up to pick here. Russell Gage, I like Russell Gage here. He might be one of the most safe receivers from Tampa Bay to draft, but I'm going to get my guy here, my 4th running back, Nyheim Hines, off the board. I was looking at Brian Robinson. I'm definitely interested in Robinson, but we'll see. I'm sure David's going to snipe me on Brian Robinson, but we'll look towards tight end, I think, there. There goes Aiden Tobin. So to me, like, Brian Robinson's a better pick than James Robinson. I'd rather hold on to the rookie with some upside here, whereas I don't know. It's going to be tough for James Robinson to look like himself. I get that he's always been doubted, but for me, I want clean, healthy players. I'm open to Robinson 2023 being a factor, but I don't know what I'm getting. And if you don't believe me, like, just look what Cam Akers looked like when he came back. It wasn't pretty. It just was not pretty. So I'm up to pick here. There's really nobody sticking out at the tight end position that I like yet. We can maybe wait for that. Let me look at the running backs here. We're kind of thin at running back, but the wide receivers look kind of fun, whether it's DJ Chark. I'm gonna take DJ Chark. I know I got the 2 Lions receivers there, but we'll see what happens with that. And then that's different though. Liz Frank's a lot different. It's a lot different. The foot mechanism, not a knee or Achilles situation here. So I think the fact that ETN, he's been off he's been healthy for a full year, so he's got more time to heal than James Robinson. But man, it's just, you gotta, if you can find me a successful Achilles, return. And basically the only one that's done it and come back is Marlon Mack. Like he's the only one that's been relevant, I would say. And even then he's not very relevant. So I'm nervous about that situation. I kind of wish I didn't take DJ Chark. I should have probably taken a guy like Josh Palmer, Tolbert, maybe Rondale Moore, Nico Collins, some of these more fun, younger wide receivers here. And I know it's all preseason depth charts, though. When the bullets are flying and the week 1 stats come out, I believe ETN is going to be their leading rusher. And they drafted Snoop Conner for a reason too. I just think it's going to be slow progress for James Robinson. And I got James Robinson shares too, so like I want him to succeed. I just, realistically, the numbers are not great for a player returning from an Achilles. But I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to be surprised. We got 2 more bench spots to fill. I still don't have a tight end. I'm still waiting on my tight end spot. But I think we're going to get some guys here that we like coming up. Basically, if you don't get a top 10, top 12 tight end, you just run it till empty. Trevor Lawrence still on the board here. I think he's a damn good pick as a QB too. But I'm going to tackle some tight ends here. I'm going to collect Irv Smith. I do not have a Vikings piece yet. I know he has a weird thumb situation going on, but I'm willing to we get sniped on Irv Smith, so that's unfortunate. I suppose I'll take the Jags Evan Engram here. Not my favorite tight end, but I think he can be useful. Last year, last year was last year with the Giants. I'm willing to overlook that. It was just kind of a shitty situation over there in New York. Bad coaching staff the last few years. I know Engram has some concentration drops, but he's also made some really big splash plays in the Jags camp as well. So we'll see. I think he's going to be a high volume, reception target player. So we'll see what we can get from our guy Evan Engram. And I'm gonna continue to take tight ends here. I think there's some guys that I want on my squad. And I'm totally willing to play tight end by committee at this point. And you know what? It seems like every year too, there's a tight end that kind of comes out of nowhere and does some really, really nice things. So it looks like our guys, Aiden grabs Kenneth Gainwell. Love that running back pick. Romeo Dobbs by David and Khalil Herbert. Some really good stashes. And Rondale Moore by Aiden. So that's a good turn there. I like all four of those picks. Even Trevor Lawrence goes right there. That's a lot of fun. I'm going to take Hayden Hurst. I got Joe Burrow, and don't sleep on Hayden Hurst. He's not too far removed from a top 10 tight end finish. In 2020, when he was playing for the Falcons, the dude was tight end number 9. Here we go. He was tight end 9 that season. 87 targets, 56 catches, 571 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Like, I'm willing to take a shot on him. It's not a sexy pick, but again, we're going tight end by committee here. We got Evan Engram, Hayden Hurst. We will see what happens here. And Aiden says he's got the Bills. What is that? What does we got for a stack here? He's got Josh Allen, Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis. Nice stack of the Bills here. Let's see. This is a solid-looking team. I like the bench. Bateman, Moore, stud receivers, James Robinson, Brian Robinson, Gainwell. Those are very nice backups to put on the bench, and Rondale Moore. So it looks, I really like the bench as well as the starters here. So this looks like a really fun squad here. David is locked in with Derek Carr. You got the stud running backs, of course, Jonathan Taylor, Connor, Barkley. Receivers are locked in here. But looking at the bench, he's got Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk, so some stud receivers to throw in there. James Cook on the bench, a fun wild card pick here as your RB4. And then some rookie receivers, man, Pickens and Dobbs. I love taking rookie receivers, especially at this point. You can get some really fun, cheap ones. So pretty good picks there from you guys in the last couple sleeper rounds. And then as we get ready here, I'm starting to see a lot of defenses and things fly off the board. Let me just double check here. We can get one of my favorite defenses, and if you're streaming defenses for week 1, let's go ahead and let's pull up that schedule for week 1, because if you like to stream defenses like me, you're going to want a defense that you can maybe use for the first week or 2. And I have a couple options for you. I want to see what these guys make for their picks first. But I think I can get the 49ers defense on the squad, because week 1, San Francisco at Chicago, they're going to eat that offensive line alive. And then week 2, San Francisco is hosting Seattle, 2 of the worst offenses in the league here. So I'm collecting the 49ers defense. They're going to get me through the first 2 weeks, and then I'll reevaluate after that. Next. So I've kind of been doing a strategy. I like leaving my last round 16 pick for some kind of juicy sleeper, because let's be real, you're probably going to end up cutting that last person on your bench at some point anyways for the first waiver run. So I'm totally cool with making defense and kicker my round 14 and 15 pick, because again, you're probably going to end up cutting that last guy on your bench anyways at some point. So go ahead and reach for that defense. Get that kicker in the 15th round. I'm totally cool with that. You want a good kicker. If your league has kickers, you want a high-octane offense kicker. And I'm hoping Aiden lets one slide through here. Looks like David grabs his Buccaneers defense. Aiden's on the board here. He grabs Nick Folk, the Patriots kicker. He leaves me the best kicker in the league, though, Daniel Carlson. He was kicker number 1 last year in the high-powered Raiders offense. It's going to be even more high-powered this year. Super excited about that. I love Daniel Carlson. You're getting an AFC West kicker. I think to me, that's one of the kickers I want. I want a kicker in the AFC West, whether it's Butker, Carlson, McManus, maybe Dustin Hopkins for the Chargers. I don't know if I love them. They kind of go for 2 every now and then. But we're looking pretty good here. This was a fun draft. We'll wrap up with one more. I have one more sleeper pick for you guys. My ultimate sleeper tight end that I'm super enjoying here. I'm actually going to look and see if I can pull up the tweet. It's Brevin Jordan. I think if I can get Brevin Jordan as my tight end 2 or 3, he is definitely a guy I want. So here is one of my most favorite follows here on Twitter, Dwayne McFarland. He's like, I'm not sure if Brevin Jordan will be a good tight end, but he has eclipsed the 80% route participation mark we want from tight ends in every preseason game so far with the starters. Texans are done rotating their tight ends, 80% typically means a top 12 season historically. So this is very, very high praise. I think there's another. Let me look to see if I can find another tweet. So this is Graham Barfield, another really good Twitter follow. He says Davis Mills has dropped back to pass 31 times this preseason, and Brevin's been on the field for 27 of them. That's 87% route share. Only 5 tight ends ran a route over 80% of the team plays last year. That's Waller, Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson, and Tyler Higbee. Make one of your last picks the tight end Brevin Jordan here from Houston. I think he can be a really, really fun pick. And then Aiden saying he's got a steal with his last player. Let's see what he's got. Looks like Julian Edelman. You think Edelman's coming back? We'll see. I don't know if I trust it, but I'm gonna definitely take Brevin Jordan here. I needed a tight end, and I'm feeling pretty good about my tight end group because now I can play the odds. I got Engram, Hurst, and Jordan. I love my wide receivers: Pittman, Tyreek, St. Brown, Allen Robinson. I got Chris Olave as a 5th. And then the running back room is Ekeler, of course, Austin Ekeler, AJ Dillon, Dameon Pierce. I think those are going to be my 3 workhorses, and I can throw out Nyheim Hines here. So fun draft. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you are new. I want to say thank you. Like, I've seen a huge boost in YouTube views and subscribers this month. We've been pumping out the content and just having a ton of fun helping you guys get ready for your draft. So thank you guys for your time. Check out the 2022 draft kit. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and good luck with your drafts. Peace out.